Hi, my name is Coldbear and the year is coming to an end, so let us check out the games similar to Baldur's Gate that were released in 2021. Let's start with Black Gazer, Couriers of Darkness. Before the release, the game was a bit in trouble for looking almost exactly like Pillars of Eternity. That summoned a bit of hate from the players, but now the outcome is almost a happy one, just like your usual outcome with your wife. Game has mostly positive reviews on Steam, and that is really way more than I was expecting, because I featured this game in several of my videos and the comments about it were kinda bad. If you want to understand what I mean, upload the best photo you have made into a professional photography website and wait for the comments. You will understand how unworthy you and your photography skills are. Even if you are awesome, people are jealous. So in Black Gazer you will be thrown into a brewing civil war between the capital city and wealthy mining town. To participate in these events you will be able to create your hero and choose out of 5 playable races and then out of 4 classes.
Not great or terrible.
Yeah, I think it's enough, because I doubt that you will play the game for the second time anyway. Yeah, you can watch combat play out in real time with the option to pause the action and issue new orders when needed. You will control the battlefield using dozens of spells and skills, all while customizing your party with a wide range of weapons, armors and some items. Although the game is poorly optimized and sometimes runs with stuttering even on the high-end machines, that is a shame, because it looks like it was made 20 years ago anyway, just a bit smoother. But really, a PC that can run Cyberpunk on the highest graphic settings should be able to run 10 Black Gazers simultaneously without a sweat, and yet sometimes it struggles with one. Anyway, the game is still in early access, so it may get better with passing time. You know, just like marinated herring. The more you marinate, the more marinated it is. Encased. Another mostly positive gem, or you know, more like a nice rock. People are talking that Encased is like an inbred baby of Mass Effect and classic Fallout. That sounds really good, so why are the reviews mostly positive? Well, most of the negative comments revolve around the story. The further you play, the more you are disappointed with the given answers or no answers at all. Things are getting repetitive and the sheer amount of looting containers is just wasting your time as you go. But this is a great game character-wise. A recommendation of one player is just to play it as a convict with an intellect score of 1, and you will see that developers actually care and took their time to create a narrative for a dumb person. That sounds cool, especially that the writing in this game is actually really good. Not as good as your wife's skill of faking an orgasm, but close enough. Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. I can bravely say that this is definitely the best game on this list. It's not perfect, but with a price of 50 euros it has very positive reviews on Steam, meaning that people are happy to have significantly less money for the opportunity to play this game. Well, for some of you, 50 euros is a joke. And those of you I invite to join my Patreon and join here on YouTube and share your wealth and riches with me so I could buy a better vodka. But for the bigger chunk of the world, this is really expensive stuff. Game is not perfect, it has some flaws. For example, a 20 hours tutorial, only after which in Act 2 and 3 you can freely explore the locations the way you could in the first part of the game called the Kingmaker. Also, the very beginning of the game feels rushed. Demon army invades the city in a matter of seconds. There is no building up the story. 1 second you're drinking beer and another demons everywhere. So you don't feel attached to the world or care for its problems. This reminds me of one Lovecraftian movie I saw last year. It was called Underwater, I think, where instead of introducing the characters, they started killing everyone from the very beginning of the movie. The fact is that you don't care about those characters because you don't know them yet, and they are already dead. So it's the same with this game. You don't really care if demons are slaughtering innocent citizens. That is a shame. But despite that, Pathfinder is great. It has a nice story, great characters, a rich world and its lore, and the most important thing, your choices can and will affect the story. So be sure to ensure that they are as dumb as possible. Geneforge: One Mutagen. Well, if you or I entered the beauty contest one day, we would feel like Geneforge feels among other RPGs now. And I mean beautiful, mature and smart. Yeah, and what did you think of? Raise some confidence, you are an amazing person, never doubt that. So Geneforge: One Mutagen is a total remaster of a classic game Geneforge released in 2001. It contains new areas, quests, characters, dialogue, a redone interface and systems, and a complete reworking of every single thing to bring it into the modern era of gaming. Here you play as a technomantic summoner, genetic mad scientist of sorts, who learns over time to create a variety of creatures that you can upgrade and tweak each time you summon them. In short, this game gives you freedom to create life and shape it as you desire. Game also gives you a choice of playing all of this without killing stuff. Well, almost without killing, but mostly with. You know, diplomacy is tricky business. Colony ship. You are a citizen of a spaceship, and this spaceship is your entire world. That's right, you have nowhere else to go, because you were born in it in the middle of a journey between stars. You have never seen Earth, never swimmed in the ocean, and never traveled to Lithuania to drink delicious local beer or vodka for a weekend. That is the greatest shame. And you will never see the final destination as well. Maybe your grandkids will, but not you. This concept is not new. I saw it in many TV shows and have enjoyed it in many sci-fi books, but it still entertains me. Here you will find a skill-based character system with feats and biological implants. Also, you can choose from 10 recruitable party members with different personalities, agendas, and beliefs. Also, 3 main factions and a score of lesser factions and groups. Also, a large arsenal including melee weapons, firearms, energy pistols, dildos, and so on. Well, maybe not all of those, but to have an arsenal of dildos is a mandatory for every space traveler. You know, your options are really limited in space. By the way, the belief system is made quite well. Religion is one of the main factors of this game. Yeah, you can be a ruthless fanatic and do everything in your god's name, or fight for freedom of mind as a brave atheist. It's up to you to decide the fate of the colony ship itself. King Arthur, Knight's Tale. It's a role-playing tactical game, a kind of unique hybrid between turn-based games like XCOM and traditional character-centric RPGs. You will find diverse battle maps where you will have to position yourself to avoid shield walls, flank your enemies, use covers against archers, make use of the terrain, hide in the foliage, and surprise your enemies with your endless wisdom. Knight's Tale is a modern retelling of a classic story with a heavy touch of dark fantasy tropes, a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry. Well, to be fair, at least for me, if you add dark fantasy to the famous story, the story becomes way better. Imagine Snow White and 7 dwarfs in this setting. Looks cool, huh? Anyway, the campaign of Knight's Tale puts a huge emphasis on moral choices, which have significant consequences in roguelite structure. This adds extra tension to the tactical and management decisions, meaning that your characters are expendable, and if they die, they will stay dead forever. Also here, along with smashing monsters, you will have to build up a Camelot fortress and unlock new upgrades for your knights. That's it, consider subscribing for more videos like that, and now have a nice day and I'll see you next time, bye!